Bring it on.
Hey guys, how's it going? oobiyou here.
What's
oobiyou.
happening?
What's up,
Hey,
dude?
hey, Nostr is fucking awesome. Um, I started here on February 2nd, with absolutely no coding experience, and the people on Nostr have just been incredible in learning everything. Um, And so in the short time I started just building my own node. Um, so I went on Umbrel, got all the Raspberry Pi parts, put everything together, synced to the blockchain, and then went down the lightning rabbit hole, figured out how to set up inbound liquidity, outbound liquidity channels, and then from there, started doing copy pasta, uh, guides on just whatever I was interested in. So I homeschool my kids and wanted to put a Nostr client together specifically for kids. So that's really was my first real coding, quote unquote, project that I had ever really done, and I worked with Hodlebod from Cool.
Okay. Did he cut out there? Or is that me?
Nope.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
that's
hear you.
that's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So worked with them, and from there, just everything started to open up to me in terms of what it actually was, and running a virtual private server, all that stuff. So I posted today on Nostr. What really pushed me to go ahead and do it was a post from Callie about a month ago that said, "Hey, most people that say they're running a full-blown web server are really just running two lines of code, right?" So I took that to heart, and today I've got three VPSs running all over the world, and I have a ClearNet LN bits instance, a Nostr market relay, um, and I also have Lightning Tip Bot, so I can offer NIP57 wallets to people. And it's just been an incredible building experience, and now I'm just keeping on going on. But Satoshi Puzzles and I have been talking about, is there an opportunity for a Nostr Nest for people who have no coding experience but do want to learn to build? Uh, because for me it started with zapping. You know, that was my first building, was being part of the Nostr algorithm, really.
Dude, I'd be on board with that. I love that kind of stuff. I want to go down the wormhole and trying to build things out on Nostr. I think so. You
So,
want to?
and my daughter is Sprite 205. She's a Nostr kid. You can look her up, Sprite 205 at nostrkid.com. And if you want to see the Nostr Kid relay, you just add wssrly.nostrkid.com, and that'll give you the read access to that relay so you can see what Nostr Kids are posting.
What
But
was that again? Can you repeat that? I'm trying to look it
yeah,
up.
it's rly
Okay.
dot nostrkid.com.
Okay.
So you'll be able to see posts from Nostr Kids, but you won't be able to write to that relay. But she's somebody who, if we did do a nest, she's capable of spinning up a server, and getting a droplet going and doing at least an Ubuntu install on that server. Um, so that's something that, like, man, and she's 9, right?
That's a
So
Wow.
this is not hard, and I am by no means a computer savvy at all, you know. Um,
Doesn't sound that way, Oobiyou.
yeah, my background is in actually environmental. Um, so
Same
very
here.
little.
Same here.
Oh, what area? What area of environmental did you?
saving the environment.
Yeah.
I
So
was
I
kidding.
was in I was an executive in an industry that did oil recovery. So we did like re-refining of used oil and things like that. So and I left that industry about a year ago. I've had Bitcoin since about 2017, and when I left my career. in 2021, I left for decentralization business. And I'd had Bitcoin and a whole bunch of other shit coins, and got on Nostr, and that's the answer there. So now I'm here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And that that site, I mean, you're I mean, you're right over the target. I mean, it is about educating the kids and getting them. I give my kids are so smart. I just let them kind of, I give them like boundaries, but just let them run with their own creativity. And
Samesies.
yeah, and I see it in these kids, and they are just like my youngest son. He's writing these books nonstop. I told him we're going to write a Bitcoin book, and
Yeah.
I'm serious about that. I'm going to help him, kind of do some of the graphics and he's going to map it out, and I'm going to try to help guide him and teach him along the way how to maybe sell a product. We'll get him a wallet set up and try to figure it out and do it right. But I love it because I see so many of these parents supporting their kids like that, and not pushing what they want down their throats. Like, hey, you got to go be a whatever. Uh, just letting their curiosity kind of guide them, and it gives me a lot of hope and optimism for the future.
Well, as a homeschool dad, right? Nostr Kid was really born out of what you're talking about right now, and I think there's a lot of Bitcoiners who are doing this with their children. So when I think about Nostr Kid, I just think about a space like that where kids can learn about Bitcoin, but then earn Bitcoin while they're doing it, and also learn about the tech that's going to be dictating their futures. They're not learning that in school right now. So Sprite 205 is learning AI prompted art right now and learning
That's
to
awesome.
code, learning to build a website, learning really, really basic JavaScript, learning Python, like very, very basic, those things that they're going to need going into the future, and no institution is giving it to them right now. But we are living in a day and age where all this stuff is available to them. It's just, as a parent, not the safest place. On YouTube, they can go down a rabbit hole and end up somewhere that, as a parent, you really don't want them to be. So with Nostr Kid, we can, as a community, create content that is head and shoulders above what you're going to get in an institution, that they can access, share with one another in a pura vida Nostr way, right? And then the adults can all see this feed, and these kids will have NIP 57 wallets, and we'll be able to tip them for the things that they're learning, and they'll be able to go on to the Nostr market and put their stuff up there, whether they're making pixel art or actual physical goods or any of that. And we have the ability right now. I feel like the internet web 2 separated us from our children, and we can bring everybody back together with Nostr. It's just incredible when you start thinking about what we can do with relays, what we can do with NIP 42, what we can do with NIP 15. Like HTTP, well, it'll be sitting there, but what we can do with these NIPs to bring our families back together, our cultures back together, our data back together, all that stuff. I mean, I've dropped everything in my life to follow after this because it's my kids. And we probably aren't going to see this whole thing happen, but our kids' probably are. And I liken it to buying Pepsi back in the day, right? It's like, that's what this is. It's not even, it's a baby, and really excited to be here doing it with you guys. And I know you guys probably all feel the exact same way that I do.
Well, this is, ranted about open source nesting. I mean, this is it. We want to be able to come here, have conversation, build community, and spread ideas. I'm with you. That's brilliant, and I want to be. Your your passion is comes through in your voice and how you're communicating about this, and it makes me want to be part of it. Like I'm like, how can I help now?
Absolutely.
I want to build an educational relay that puts schools out of business. And I think we can do that.
I'm down, bro. Let's
Hey,
do it.
Do it.
Avi.
Hey,
Do it.
I, I was having some
Hey,
technical
Avi.
difficulties earlier, but yeah, I'm glad you were able to share your story here with all these like-minded, people. And what really drew my attention was, I saw some notes from Fiat Jeff and some other Nostr developers, just like, simple 30-second screen recordings where they're copy pasting, from one place to another and launching, clients. Everyone sees how many clients Pablo has released. He just kind of pumps them out in a couple hours.
Dude's a
And
machine.
you know, as you're saying, it's so easy, like kids can do it too, right? Like, so like it should be, kids obviously, but like everyone, like it should be like no
Yeah.
matter where
I
you're at,
agree.
like, it's easy enough to, and I'm still learning, Seth, and Fiend and Bevo, like we all opened, a Ring of Fire Lightning channel together, and we're just learning, but like this seems like the logical next step. Like, how do we start building our own little mini clients, because we all know.
Absolutely. And I
Hey,
think we can do that really easily in just a couple of nests. And I feel like if people just saw the couple of things, especially on a VPS, man, because as soon as you get onto a VPS and realize what it actually, you're like, oh, I'm off to the races. I can do anything now, right? Once
hey,
you get into
hey,
that virtual machine, you have freedom.
hey, Ubi, I just wanted to circle back a bit.
Yeah.
Like, it started about, um, your journey right from the start, in that you hadn't done any coding, etc., etc. I'm in the exact same spot. My timeline's just a little bit like pretty much matches yours, but I'm nowhere near as advanced on the coding side as you seem to be at this point.
Yes.
So the whole thing, setting up the education for the kids, and I think Satoshi just touched on it then, is you need to probably put something together, um, because it's not just me. I see people all the time. I'm going to have a crack at learning coding, etc., etc. And I haven't found anywhere that's easy, because like every time you go and try and start something, the people that are trying to teach you or you're looking at are miles in front of you, and
Yes.
you don't you get lost. So,
That's
and you
why
don't
I
have.
think we're onto something here by having people who are just starting teaching.
Well, also, through conversation. Think about learning a new language. You don't learn it through, apps and books and things like that. You learn it by being immersed in the culture and having conversation. And I think that these tools that we're, you know, playing with right now, like the nests, and we're evolving it to podcasts and things like that, like the whole reason to put it into podcast form is so that we can spread ideas. I was surprised by how many I think we had 17 different countries, just looking at the analytics. I don't know shit about this, but we're all learning out loud, and there's just a bunch of people listening, and you don't know how that's going to spark some motivation amongst somebody else. I mean, especially when, like, listening to you talk about it and the passion you have behind it, it's contagious, and I think that spreads through these type of forms so much stronger than it would, say, like a chat function.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also wanted to comment on the Nostr kid thing, because I think that's great. My cousin, she's a math teacher on the East Coast, and I've been trying to get her to like make a little, extra curriculum, Bitcoin math lesson or whatever, and just so I think I'm just gonna make it for her and send it to her, and but like things like that, just to like start the awareness at a young age, because, like you said, they don't teach this in public schools or private schools, really. It's just something that, you're expected to know when you become an adult. So, um,
Yeah,
we need to start them young.
I think that I absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I do want to go back to the coding thing as a beginner. Just one thing that's really important is just to. I like to tell people there's a million ways to skin a cat, but you just have to start skinning the cat. Most people never
Yeah.
start doing that. And once you start on a guide that is all copy pasta, what you find is you have no idea what you're doing when you start that, but things start working. And then you start dissecting what those things that you're copy pasting actually are. And after you do like 2 or 3 guides, you'll start to understand what it is you're copy and pasting. Then you start, like Seth said, you need to immerse yourself in the language. So it's not people though, it's computers that you're talking to. So uh, understanding the prompts and the command line and what you're saying, like, oh, that's what that means. That means I'm installing Python 3 now. And being able to look at those things. And I'm getting to a point right now in my code where I can pretty much see things that need to be changed the way that I want them to. And then I'm starting to work. I started last week uh, working with ChatGPT as well, because that's another thing that just if you know enough, if you know how to set up a
Yeah,
dev environment from beginning to build, then you can put all of those things in there, and then you just prompt ChatGPT when you
I
have a
was just
problem.
gonna comment there. I think that guy Walker posted about Auto GPT Chat 3, and so that one has access to the internet. I guess it's a little bit more difficult to use, but it's a
yeah.
lot more powerful.
There are creative ways of prompting that are being explored, and it's like this whole new frontier. It's insane how that's evolving, that space.
So, and then back to Nostr, I will say my daughter and her generation, they get this, man. They're playing video games right now where you're playing for tokens and you unlock them, and you borrow money from your parents to buy these fake tokens and blah 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 blah. We're just doing that with Bitcoin. And then they're going to go, "Oh, well, we want Bitcoin then instead." And then they're going to pill their parents, because their parents actually have to be on Nostr in order for them to be a Nostr kid, because of authorization and validation
Eh,
and verification.
It's a brilliant Trojan horse, man. Get the kids on Bitcoin, and then
Yeah,
the
dude.
parents will have to come. They will be forced to come if they want to continue snooping on their kids' lives. They're going to
so
have to
now
be
so
involved
now
with
their friends, right? Their friends tell their friends, like, get your parents on Nostr so that you can join us on Nostr.
100%.